And he had came to the hospital one time, and he had came with my mother, and he had said one thing, and he said, and the only thing nice that he had said to me that I remember was that I'll never forget what you said on the answer machine. I'll never forget what you said. All right. And he said, out of all my kids, he said, you are the only one that had offered that to me. And I said, well, I meant it. And so he wasn't a person that was a hugger or just somebody touchy-feely type. And he was always a hard person, always that had a hard personality. And he always liked to joke around, and he had a sense of humor, but any other time, he was a hard person. But, and then he had a joke, and then he had made a joke after that and said, well, how are you going to do all that when you're sitting here in the hospital? And I said, well, there you go, back to the old dad again. So, and so he stayed around for a while and then he left. And the second time he came back to the hospital, but he was getting angry with Mom. Well, the second time he came to the hospital, he got angry with my mom because I had talked to my mom before he had gotten there. My mom had washed my clothes and did my laundry and stuff, and she had stayed up late. And after she had did it, she had called me out. She said, your father is going to be coming. She says, I'm supposed to be there, and we're supposed to meet your doctor. But she says, I'm tired. She says, I'm really tired. And she said, because I stayed up late. I said, well, you stay home. And I said, you get your rest and stuff like that. You don't need to be here for all that. And I said, I can take care of Dad. And you can, stay home and I can take care of Dad and the doctor. And so she said, you sure? And I said, yeah. My dad came and he came up to the hospital. He stayed for a while and he was asking me where my mom was at, bugging my mom, trying to call her, all that kind of stuff. He got angry and upset. Then, we got again into another argument. And then after, when he was leaving, we got into a conversation about our relationship. Because I wanted to ask him about it, at least before he passed away or something happened. And so, and he had left the hospital. I said, well, what about our relationship together? And he just shrugged his shoulders and then left. And then I started, the machines had started beeping, and the nurses had came in, and because I had started crying and I was in pain, and I had to get in medication and stuff like that. And so when it came time when he got sick, and he was bedridden, and it was when he had the nurse at his house, and all the kids were there, most of the kids were there, grandchildren were there, and all that kind of stuff. I couldn't be there because it would have been a big to-do with everybody, but most of them anyway. And so I stayed home, and I remember one morning he called me to talk to my mom, and Mom was asleep. She he had to go to work that day, and he had wanted to talk to Mom. I wouldn't let him do it because I woke Mom up. If she had to go to work, and I woke Mom up, then I was going to get trouble. And I wasn't about to wake Mom up before she had to go to work because I didn't like to be in trouble. So it was one thing that I did one too many times that I wasn't going to do that day. So, just because he told me to. And he was the kind of person that you don't say no to the advice. You do not say no to him. And so, and he's the kind of person that if you do say no, then he's the kind of person that, he's going to come back and he's going to hold a grudge to you for the rest of your life. So I said no to him, and he didn't know what to do. So he started to rant and rave and all this kind of stuff. And so when that happened, and I said, look, I don't want to argue. I said, if you don't calm down, you're going to get a heart attack. He started to yell and scream at me more. And I said, look, you can call back later. And he just got madder and madder. And the last thing my father had said to me before he passed away, the last thing I heard him say to me was
hold him up, Lord Jesus. In the name of Jesus.
The last thing I heard him say to me was, F you.
Oh.
And I said, what? And he had said it again. And I said, you don't talk to me that way. And I had given him a rundown about 25 years, 22 years, and all this kind of stuff. And then when it came time to when he did, and then when it came time, it was 2 days after, Friday the 13th. And it came time to when it was by the minutes, where we were waiting by the phone to see if he was going to pass. They were telling us, well, we don't know if he's going to make it or not. We don't know if he's going to hold up through the night. And so we were waiting by the phone. And so I was doing nothing but praying. And I was doing nothing but asking the Lord, I don't know what I'm going to do now without my father. And it was such a crazy thing because my father did nothing but give me heck all my life. And he wasn't there. So what am I going to do? The Lord had told me, he says, I am going to be here for you. He says, in my word, I told you that I will never forsake you. He says, I'll never leave you, or I'll never forsake you. He says, and I'll be here for you, and I have an everlasting love for you. He says, I have a love for you that nobody on earth will love you like I do. And he says, and the love and the way that the way he'll treat you, the way I'll treat you is nothing like you've been treated before. And so I had to lean on somebody.
Yes.
I had to lean on the Lord.
Yes.
I had to lean on him because all my life men had let me down. It wasn't just my father, it was men, and it was preachers, it was deacons, it was other men in my life that had let me down. And I had to lean on the Lord. I had problems with men, period. So, mentally, in my mind, the Lord being a man himself